Welcome to the Business Information Buffet podcast, brought to you by the Minority Business Development Agency. Each week, we'll be featuring business owners and entrepreneurs that will provide their personal recipe for business, powerful conversations, and knowledge of the business world. We amplify the stories of various backgrounds, cultures, and expertise. Our self-identity is as diverse as our social community. We cultivate a community of like-minded individuals that share their different perspectives, broadening our worldview. Are you ready? This is the BIB podcast, where everybody eats. Now, I would love to introduce you all to our guest for the episode 3, Lucio Arancibia. Lucio is the founder and CEO of InfoodSYS creation, development, and execution of a simple interface design app. Lucio has over 40 years of experience in the hospitality industry in all facets of food and beverage operations, and has senior positions within Mandalay Bay Group, Ballet's Grand Resort, the Hermitage Hotel, the New York Hilton, and Starwood. This is Lucio's career focus and vast knowledge in key areas such as operation analyst, performance evaluationist, training, staff development, business acumen, policies and procedures, implementation, training programs, including efficiency on food safety rules, cost control, labor requirement, covering the culinary, beverage, and front on the house departments. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for episode 3, Mr. Lucio Arancibia. How you doing, sir?
Very well.
Very well, sir. It's great to have you here. I just want to thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure. So thank you for coming in, taking your time out on this lovely day just to come out and speak to us and speak to all the entrepreneurs that follow us on this podcast, okay? We're going to go into our first segment, which is recipe versus the outcome. This is where the magic comes. So for this segment, we discuss your journey, how you planned the business, what challenges you faced, how you were able to overcome it, and what was the outcome. So my first question for you, good sir, is please give us a tour of your professional journey as a chef.
This is start back in home in Argentina. We live in a farm. We all help Mom to cook.
Right.
That was one of our main tasks besides attending school. And I fall in love with that, to produce something from nothing and do some, a delicious and spectacle meal. That was one of the things that really pushed me to be into the hospitality business.
So it all started from home, from in the kitchen in Argentina with Mom.
Yes.
Did your father cook too?
No, father was the one who was bringing the money.
No.
My mother was taking care of 6 kids.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that was a full-time job.
Definitely. So, salute to that. Can we give a round of applause for your mother? Six kids. So what number were you out of the 6?
I was number 4.
Number 4. Yeah. That's a good number.
Number 4.
Number 4.
So that was a great experience. I was blessed to raise in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
It really teaches us, to have responsibility and accountability.
Mm-hmm. That
was from my father and my mother, of course. So besides that, that's one of the things that really it made my mind to actually come to the U.S. And pursue a career.
Okay.
Started washing dishes when I arrived in 1976. I hate to say the year because I know how old I am.
They say back in 76.
Yeah. 76. It was. I was so excited to be in the U.S. My oldest sister was already here.
Okay.
So she's the one who brought me in. And I see from the beginning, from washing dishes, I already was looking the other positions, and I always say I want to do that.
Right.
And that was the motivation, that my father told me. Everybody has a chance. And I really took that.
Okay.
That was my big chance to become somebody. And I moved from washing dishes and 70s, all the way to become a vice president of operations for casinos.
Went from washing dishes all the way to becoming a vice president?
Yes, for two properties,
Man.
two casinos. Yeah, it was, again, it was a great journey,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody can do it.
Right.
Yes, if you have, you have to have the desire,
Right.
and the discipline, and I think you can do it. That's what I tell people when I go. Actually, I was here a few years ago talking to the students in
Yes.
CSN, and I told them. Actually, I asked one question, which is in one of the books. They talk about me.
Mm-hmm.
I said to the culinary students, "Who wants to be a chef? Raise your hand."
Right.
And everybody did. And then I said, "Who wants to be a cook?" And nobody.
And they wouldn't raise their hand.
You see what I mean?
I see what you mean. So,
Exactly.
so it's that process, right? Like, because I think we were talking about this offline a little bit about sometimes we don't appreciate the process and how things start to where it ends. We want to go straight to where it ends. We want to be here without going through the process to get there. Right. So with going into that, you went from starting washing dishes to being a VP to being all over, holding multiple positions, and being in this field for a long time. Now you have your own business, right? So please explain what InfoodSYS is, what this app is, what this design is.
InfoodSYS was actually was created as a necessity. When I was a chef, actually I did open Excalibur in 1990. I came actually 4 months after the open. I was brought in.
Okay.
I don't want to go into detail, but I was brought in to help with it.
Right.
And I noticed some of my assistants, everybody has an office, kind of, and my challenge was to get them out,
Right.
be on the floor. And I think I mentioned to you, I always use what I learned is that you need to be 20% in the office, 80%. That's the Pareto's principle.
20% in the office, 80% out
On the floor.
Got you, out on the floor.
So after I left Excalibur, I got my first promotion with Mandalay Bay in 2000. After 10 years on Excalibur, I became my first director job in Tunica, Mississippi, for the Gold Strike, one of the biggest casinos in Tunica. And when I was hiring a chef and interview people, I noticed that I couldn't get them out of the office. So because they're overwhelmed.
Right.
You're still responsible for labor control, for safety, inspection, menus. So I said, I need to create something that will help them meet those requirements in compliances, right?
Right.
Like FDA and local health departments.
Right.
And I'll be able to be on the floor.
Right.
So that's how InfoSYS was created. I read a book a long time ago, Steve Jobs, from Apple, and it's talking about, actually the quote is one on my website, that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Simplicity is the ultimate
sophistication, no doubt.
That's powerful.
Simple. And nowadays what's going on is even worse.
Right.
I see, I still helping some college they come up, and so those that they don't, that I talk to them, again, it's very overwhelming what's going on because of the pandemic.
Right, the pandemic.
So they can actually provide. At the end of the day, they feel like when they get home, they haven't done nothing.
Right.
And that's a bad feeling. So you should go home at the end of the day and feel that you accomplished your task.
Yeah.
So this is what the app will help. It will help to meet all these requirements, whether it's cost control, which is very important now.
Right.
Labor, nutrition, it's huge. And I still reading some stuff from the FDA and the CDC. We still got issues in this country with people getting sick and allergens. I don't know if you saw the new bill that just passed by Joe Biden.
I did see it.
Sesame seed.
Yeah, I did see it.
Well, guess what? Sesame seed has been in my system for 5 years.
Man.
So if you write a menu and write a recipe in the sesame seed, it'll give you a heads up.
Oh.
A heads up, you got an allergen here.
Okay.
So if you're going to write your menu, then you can put them at the bottom of the menu. This dish has sesame seed.
Got you.
Yeah. So all these things, they are actually in the app.
Okay. And so when you created the app, let's dive deep into how you created the app. So how did you plan, like when you started planning the business, how did you start to plan it? Like how did that development go into?
The original app, InfoodSYS app, it was created in Excel by me.
In Excel?
I become very good in Excel, yeah. Wow. Excel is all about formulas. And if you look at the background of the app, of course, it's now, once it was done and it was working for me in Excel, everything that I wanted to do was done by formulas. If I do this is going to happen here, this here, give me this. So when it was done, then I turned that into my programmer.
Okay.
And it helped them tremendous. If for anybody that is going to develop an app, do it in Excel, you're going to save a lot of money. Because if you don't, and you tune the program that you wanted to do, or the app, in a Word document, the programmer had to actually do a double job to figure out how to turn them into codes.
Right.
By doing in Excel, he reads the formula and turns them into a code.
Gotcha. Because there is, you're absolutely correct. Because there's definitely all those codes that
no doubt
it can make. That's how you're able to make certain budgets. That's why a lot of people use Excel for budgets.
It's amazing.
Man.
I got really good in Excel. Actually, when I was a chef,
right,
I was doing some analytics on Excel, like a menu analytics. I develop a menu analytics. They will tell me what they sell, what doesn't sell. When I pull that information from accounting, which is in Excel, copy paste on my Excel, and it gives me all the information in real time.
Yeah.
So I got really good at that.
Okay.
Excel is key, the reason I did it too, because I know the results, how the app will actually function,
right,
by doing actually in Excel. And that's
right. Yeah. So what were the challenges that you faced, like creating this app? Because using Excel, that's phenomenal. Like the fact that you used a software that everyone has access to, right, and you were able to turn that to your programmer and create your platform. What were the challenges there, and how did you overcome those to get the outcome that you actually you desired?
The challenge was I got to read a lot. I had to educate myself.
Right, you had to read a lot.
Nutrition. Okay. I was key. I was lucky in the team include Fion, which is my team. I still have a certified nutritionist with me. But it was learning. It was not just delegating. I wanted to see what delegate, I know what it is. So that was one of the challenges. I spent a lot of hours at the beginning, studying. Lucky that I was retired by then.
Okay.
So I had the time.
Yeah.
So I don't have to call in sick. So that was the challenge was to, learn and get better and understand it.
Okay. Because it's to a point, is it to a point where you, InfoodSYS is to a point where, is it at an outcome that you would like it to be at right now at the moment? Or is it still more development or still growth that needs to come?
Yeah, I'm developing another program right now.
Okay.
It's going to be probably interface with the app. The thing is, the programming is very expensive, so it requires a lot of investment on it.
Okay.
But this is what I'm working now. Hopefully, it looks like I eventually will have an investor. This program, what it's going to do is be able to track a product from the farm to distribution, which it doesn't exist. There is one that was developed by Walmart, but it's proprietary.
Right. But
it's only for them. And this happened when we have a huge recall with iceberg. Remember that?
Right. So I do remember that.
People got sick.
Yeah.
onion just happened now. I get all this information from CDC and FDA.
Right.
Because it goes straight on my app. If you open my app, you get those notifications for free. Wow. You don't have to open the app. You go to my website, and there you got real-time notification, anything that gets recalled. But what happens is if you don't have time, you don't have time to read with everybody's overwhelmed now,
right.
You might have a product in your cooler that has been recalled and you don't know.
That you shouldn't be having, right.
So
Gotcha.
what I'm building right now is something that will interface with the app. They will tell you in 2 seconds when it gets recalled in your phone.
And you know this before.
Oh, wow, I got to pull this chicken from Tyson. Right?
Wow.
Well, I need to pull this iceberg lettuce that I know is coming from California farm because it got recalled because it has salmonella. Yeah, this is what it's missing. So it's a good technology, and like I say, it's in the work. And eventually will be an add-on to the app with no charge for the...
No, you said no charge either?
No
so
charge.
that was actually going to be my next question. Is there a cost to InfoodSYS?
Those the app?
Yeah, for the app. Is there a charge for the app?
$49 a year.
So essentially...
Less than a cup of coffee.
Yeah, so a cup of coffee for a whole year with $49. Okay, so that's the subscription and how much is okay. That's how much it charges.
Yeah,
And you're working on that interface now to see where it came from the farm. So that whole tracking system.
Right.
Man,
it's a universal tracking system. Yeah, it's very complicated to go over there.
No.
And guess what? You know what's done now?
What's the one?
It's not in Excel.
And see that right there is the recipe. That's how you're able to get the recipe right there.
So you know, talking about it, because sometimes it comes up in a question, why $49? This thing should be $400 or $500 a year. Mm-hmm. Because I want the mom and pop operation they can afford to have it.
So you want to make it affordable for folks to actually be. See, that's phenomenal.
8 years ago, I think it was, we passed the law, the bill in Congress, that every restaurant, every company has 20 or more restaurants has to have calories in the menu. Mm-hmm. So you go to McDonald's, right, or Chick-fil-A, it's the law, you have to have it. But we have another 800,000 restaurants in this country, mom and pop, they're not required.
Right.
So if we ever pass the law, it looks like Joe Biden is definitely will look into that because, like I mentioned my friend here, we got 134 million people affected by diabetes. So he knows it's costing $378 billion, if you look into it in Google, in Medicare to take care of that. So if we pass the law, the mom and pop, they're going to have. If I have a restaurant, I got some restaurants already. Mm-hmm. Rudy from, that's a commercial. I'm not going to give the name of the restaurant. Sorry, Rudy. So he's a mom and pop, and they have it because they're getting ready.
Right.
If it becomes mandated, and if you don't have something like this, if you send the menu to a lab, they said standard menu, 2 pages, between $800 and $1,000 to do the lab report and nutrition. Guess what? You can do it, man, anytime you want,
right,
for $49 a year.
$49 a year, ladies and gentlemen, for something that's the value in itself is worth way much more, and you're doing it for essentially $50. Right.
You see, not too long ago I had a meeting with. He's the president of the American Chef Federation now.
Right.
National, Tom McCreen, a good friend.
Okay.
He's a chef. And I met him with him a few years ago, just before the app goes into life. And he goes, why $49? Lucio, you got Chef Tech, you got all these apps. They doesn't do half what you do, and the simplicity that you do.
Right.
For free. And you know why? Because I'm not selling a product. I'm selling a benefit.
You heard the magic in that, ladies and gentlemen. We had to make sure we dropped the magic on that recipe because, good sir, I have to take you to the next segment, which is the hot seat. So, good sir, this next segment is the hot seat. This segment, we provide an in-depth question to learn more about you as a guest and your business. So, for the first question of this segment, for the hot seat, good sir, I understand that you've currently signed a contract with UNLV Culinary Arts Program, right? So please give us some more information about the current activities within InfoodSYS pertaining to your contract with UNLV Culinary.
In my first I did a presentation 2 years ago in UNLV to the culinary department. And I know for a fact, because I believe in the program, that it really is going to help a lot of the students that are in culinary classes.
Right.
How they do that, and this is what some of the professors there, coach, they teach culinary. First, I got to work with them.
Right.
And actually, it takes 1/2 hour to learn.
1/2 hour.
Which that happens even if you buy an iPhone.
It takes time.
You know what I mean? Simplicity.
Yeah.
So I know it was an easy sell to them because the student, one of the requirement in class is they had to write a recipe, their recipe.
Right.
And they had to put them in. They used to have an Excel just to write in there and do the cost and all that.
Right.
But when they got to nutrition, they spend a lot of hours, and they don't turn those works in real time.
Right.
Because many don't know nutrition. I mean, it's something new. So when I saw I will do cost of sale nutrition, right? It also has an implementation in food safety, that's what they teach a class. They can write a recipe in about depending how fast you are. Not like me, they use a finger. 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
In 2 minutes, you will have what it takes hours for the student to proceed. To deliver. That's what does so good for UNLV. They allow them to learn something, because as you actually work in the lab, you learn it. You're learning about nutrition, just not 500 pages, but just what really matters. And you learn about food safety. By the way, I'm a certified HACCP.
Okay.
Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. I did that when I was on a scale level.
Okay.
Because I was afraid to get somebody sick in my buffet, which served thousands of people. So I was very good about food safety. But HACCP is so complicated that you can teach. So I did a summary part of HACCP where actually they can understand and apply. And all they had to do when they choose the ingredient, they will actually allocate an icon and say, hey, heads up, this is poultry, you need to cook it to 165. So that gives you an idea how they up and why it was so successful for the university to acquire.
Okay.
Because it helps a lot. I'm in the second year with the university.
And so this is your second year within the contract. Good man. Round of applause for that kid, sir. Out here doing great things for not only just for the community. How does that make you feel?
I feel good, but I think I had to do a lot more.
That's that humility and accountability. That we talked about accountability earlier too.
Remember, you look as far as you can see.
Yes, sir.
And when you get there, then you look farther.
4 spaces ahead, 4 moves ahead for chess, right?
Very good. That's the strategy.
That's the strategy.
4 steps ahead.
I'm literally gonna take that to use. 4 steps ahead.
See, now I teach you that, you're gonna beat me in chess.
Let's see. We're gonna take our time with it and see where we can go for sure. My next question for you, sir, is you have passionately discussed the nutritional value of food and health with what you do, with what you've done all these years in the industry. So for one, I want to applaud you there. But because you discuss these things, please talk about your vision of InfoodSYS, how you can see the current COVID-19, how has it impacted the food industry, and what level of audience you would like to reach in the next year.
Well, we faced 2 pandemics.
You say 2 pandemics?
2 pandemics.
So what's the?
We have COVID-19.
Okay.
And we have a long-term pandemic, which is diabetes.
Yes, you're absolutely
in this
correct.
country.
You're absolutely correct.
So you mentioned about, my other passion actually is we wanted to contribute to the citizens of this country,
Yes.
to eat better. And our goal, which I have a team in there too, has some heavy movers and shakers, what I call in the country.
Right.
A couple of doctors too. What we wanted to do is, our goal is to turn diabetes 2 and diabetes 1 to diabetes none.
Diabetes none, ladies and gentlemen. Diabetes none. I love that.
Diabetes belong in a museum. That's where we're going to put him. So it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's not complicated. It's not complicated. All we need to do is we need to educate the consumer.
Right.
Allow them to, and it's still a choice what people want to eat. No doubt. But we believe if we educate the consumer, we can see a change. And the beauty about diabetes, and I mentioned to you, my oldest brother is a surgeon.
Yes, you did. You did.
The beauty about diabetes is that it doesn't take medicine to you. All you do is you change your diet.
Change it.
Of course, you have to exercise a little bit too.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I just turned 30 in this past October, and I've noticed how I really had to knuckle down on my nutrition. And I think I told you earlier, like I every morning I take shots of apple cider vinegar and the turmeric for my system.
Good.
And these are things that we don't really think about while we're younger, while we're in our early 20s, late teens. Our metabolism so fast, we don't think about it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to the gas station and give me a nice little hot Cheetos or some gummy bears, and then 10 years later that catches up to you because those habits don't change, right?
That's
so
right.
What do you say to somebody? Because especially when those are the habits that create diabetes.
It's a habit. It's a habit.
So it's those habits. What do you say to all the entrepreneurs, right? Because sometimes we get so busy that our nutrition isn't the best practice. Like our habits aren't the best when we're trying to perform. What do you say to those those entrepreneurs who are so busy that we neglect our nutrition?
Well, stress is a big player.
Yeah.
We see now because what's going on. Many of the college that I know, they're doing 2 or 3 jobs now, so
Right.
that have an impact. And you don't make the time actually to eat well.
Right.
But you have to. That should be at your top of your agenda. You have to take care of your body. Socrates, let the food be the medicine.
Yes, sir.
Period. Yes, we're busy, but you know what? What good is it going to do if at the end of the day you haven't eaten well and you're stressed? And tomorrow when you wake up, you might be 2 days behind.
Very much true.
So eating is critical, and we know it's been proved the 2 pandemics that we just talked.
Right.
They interact. 550. When you read the news, 550,000 people we lost so far. 190,000 was diabetes related. To that death.
Through the death for that pandemic, and then 190,000.
The 500,000.
Of the 500,000.
It was diabetes related.
So COVID had a significant impact
No
on
doubt.
those folks.
So I think it's time to, like I say, our goal is we're working with Congresswoman.
Yes.
Susie Lee.
Yes.
A great lady. She's been very, very supported. I think that eventually we're going to have a chance to Congress to look at it.
Gotcha.
That we need to do something here. 20 years from now, it's going to be another 30% on top of it. So we're going to have almost a little over half of the population in this country.
Man.
The impact, not just in the loss of life,
Right.
the impact on productivity. I remember when I was a chef director and I have an associate who had diabetes, when they get sick, they got to go home.
Yeah.
And they might not come back tomorrow or the day after, depending how serious.
Mm-hmm.
So now I had to replace it. The insurance takes now part of that $327 billion on
Right.
healthcare. So yeah, I mean, I told, and one of the good things I told Susie, I said, listen, if we save 10% of the $334 billion,
Right.
10%, and it can be done in 6 months, because in 6 months you can go from diabetes 2 to diabetes 1.
Right.
Take that money and put them in education. Give the teachers a raise. Imagine what it do to education in this country.
Man, please, round of applause for the raises for the teachers, because they definitely do. And sir, for my last question for this segment, because you've just been you've been phenomenal, by the way. I just want to let you know that you've given so much knowledge today that I think.
How's my accent?
Oh, your accent, your accent's pretty good. It's real good. It makes me. I'm like, man, he knows what he's talking about. So, is there anything else that you would like to talk about when it comes to InfoodSYS?
Again, I said earlier,
Yeah.
we're not trying to sell a product here. We're
Right.
to sell a benefit. I want them to take advantage of it because it's going to help them to meet all this compliance in a way. You have to put something in.
Right.
Remember, like the water pump.
Water pump. Yes.
In order to get something out,
You got to prepare it down.
you have to prime.
That's a prime it.
You have
That's
to
right.
prime the pump in order to get something out. So you have to put, like I tell the students, you can say 2 hours, and I'm going to have the test
Right.
done. No, it might take a little longer than that.
Right.
It might take 3, 4, or 5 hours.
But that's the process, that journey, right? And I think because when I don't hear a product when I hear InfoodSYS, like I'm sitting here thinking like, man, longevity, right?
Yeah.
Like how we talked about, started as a washer to VP to this. All the 40 years of experience you discussed is a long process and journey that we should take for granted. And oftentimes we do take for granted because we think, oh, well, it won't affect us. It's not near us, because they don't think it's reachable. And to a point when you're in a position, now it's smack dead in the center of your face, and now you have to pay attention. So I love this, and I love what you taught today, because you moved me, and I just want to say thank you, good sir. Because round of applause for this gentleman.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna, because you have survived the hot seat. You survived the hot seat, good sir. So now we're going to go into the sauce, sir. The next segment. So, good sir, for this segment, this gives us more insight on our guests, where we ask, like, okay, what is your special ingredient for your business, right? Where we ask you, like, this is like, you tell us why someone can't replicate what you do. So my question for you, sir, is tell us what makes InfoodSYS and what makes you a company nobody can duplicate on what you do.
I think it's the simplicity of simplicity of the program, where you'll be able to achieve all these requirements in very little time. Remember I mentioned that when I read that book, Steve Jobs,
yes.
Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. It really drove me when I was building this, that my manual, 2 pages.
2 pages?
That's my manual.
Ladies and gentlemen, did y'all hear?
2
I teach
pages.
2 pages. 2 pages?
2 pages.
That's the fastest book and best book I probably will ever read in my life. 2 pages. The best manual.
So we know how manuals are, right?
Yes, very detailed, which is necessary. But
I remember when I bought my first CD player.
Right.
It's 50 pages.
thick.
So, we took all the, I wanted to have something that is right to the point, they understand, and they can do them in real time.
Can we give a round of applause for this good gentleman? This gentleman gave you the recipe for the sauce for this segment, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't thank you enough, because this has been a blessing. And now we have to transition to our last segment, the happy hour, sir. This is the last segment of the show.
That's my favorite hour.
Yes, sir. Happy hour. So this segment, this is where you engage with the host and the guests, where we ask what's going on that's great, big or small. And we all engage in a little toast. So if you could pass those glasses right there of apple cider. We each get one, me, you, and our DJ Icebreak.
DJ Icebreak.
Yes, sir. Here you go. That's for you, DJ Icebreak. My God, thank you, good sir. This is for me and one for you, good sir. So to close this episode, which again, applause to you. You've been phenomenal. You gave us so much knowledge, and you make me want to continue to go on this on my nutrition. Make sure I stay on top of that, hold myself accountable there, because it is a journey. So I appreciate you there. What is something that's going on great for you that's worth celebrating that we can give a toast to?
That I can get up every morning and I can breathe, walk, and enjoy life.
Enjoy life.
Yeah.
Living in that atonement, right?
And be there for those that they need help.
Yes.
That's my passion anytime when I get up.
So we're going to give a toast to you. Can we give a toast to you, good sir?
Absolutely.
So Mr. Lucio, great sir for giving back to his community. Thank you.
Salud.
Salud.
Salud. Salud.
Apple cider, ladies and gentlemen, is so good. Yes, sir. And before we close,
It's like a Corona Extra.
apple cider, ladies and gentlemen, make sure.
Apple cider.
Apple cider for the record.
Apple cider.
We refuse to get in trouble. No. So apple cider, ladies and gentlemen. And before we go, is there any selfish?
That's for you.
That's for me.
Yeah.
What's this? Good. Oh, definitely.
Sign it.
I definitely need to support this. This right here. It's a great letter from our Congressman, Susie Lee. Thank you, good sir. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Would you like for me to read it?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So, dear Lucio, thank you for contacting me regarding food and nutrition concerns as we continue to address the serious effects of the coronavirus. Hearing from the constituents is incredibly important to me as I continue to work every day to ensure you and all of my constituents will get the support you need during this global emergency. First, thank you. I know that you, like many Nevadans, have already made countless sacrifices to keep our community safe, help our neighbors, friends, family members during this tough time. As the days move forward, it's going to be more and more important that we stick together and that each of us do our part for the greater well-being of our communities. Thank you for pitching in for your continued efforts, helping our community get through this tough time. First of all, do you hear this, gentleman? Out here getting letters from Miss Susie Lee. Okay, sir? Come on now. Thank you, good sir. This is a letter that he received from Miss Susie Lee. And sir, I would ask you, is there anything that you would like to plug for the people to know for our listeners today? Is there anything you would like to mention where they can find you, websites, all this? How can they get in contact with you?
The website is very simple. It's www.InfoodSYS.net. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a very nice newsletter over there. Everything is free there. They really, it talks about a lot for people that are in the business and the hospitality business.
Okay.
I get a lot of good feedback on LinkedIn and Facebook. It's a great. I put a lot of time in that newsletter, and every month comes up new with a lot of. I do a lot of research during the month.
Right.
What really matters, and that's what I share with my readers. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is important. Thank you for giving this to me because, ladies and gentlemen, I read a small brief of what Ms. Lee has sent to Mr. Lucio. And this gentleman right here is doing phenomenal things for our community and as an entrepreneur. So I would like to thank you again. Just give this gentleman another round of applause. Deeply appreciate you. We thank you for giving us your sauce or your recipe. So as we get ready to close, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for episode 3. This is the Business Information Buffet Podcast, also known as the BIB Podcast, with your host, Sean Torrey, and our DJ Icebreak.
DJ Icebreak.
And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.